Semper Veritas, everyone. Welcome to the very first, very exclusive, never before witnessed trailer to our new podcast. I'm your host, hailing from Leverett House this year, but originating from the coast of Cali. I'm David Chen.
Hi, I'm Farronay. I come from South Florida, born in Miami, but raised in the suburbs, and I'll be living in Quincy House.
From the Midwestern base of Des Moines, Iowa, my name is Fez Zafar, coming to you from Stoughton Hall.
Hi everyone, this is your slightly in love with Facebook friend from Virginia, Melissa Meng, chiming in from Winthrop House.
And together we are the Quad Squad?
The Quad Squad.
The Quad Squad?
The Quad Squad.
Oh man, I love it. Man, but I mean, it's truly an extraordinary time right now, not just in our area in Cambridge, but around the world, essentially. And I wanted to start off with a brief history lesson on how the four of us happened chanced upon each other. And to be fair, it's quite an extraordinary story. Anna and I, in the middle of summer, we met through a program for Harvard incoming freshmen called Spark. And we met each other with the idea of starting a podcast, right? And our goal was really like elementary, right? It was just to start a platform where we can like talk to the amazing people that we got to know, which was Harvard students, and just understand their story, right? I think every Harvard student coming in has, oh my God, just a fascinating story behind them and should totally be shared with, not just in our community, but I think around the nation.
Yeah, exactly. So when David and I started talking about it, we really wanted to make it something conversational and something super open in the community. And we were toying around the idea of how to make it an actuality at Harvard and on the campus and everything. And then I saw on one of the group chats a poster or a flyer for Quarantined at Harvard that Melissa and Fez had put out. And so I reached out to Dave and I was like, oh my God, they also put a podcast. We should try to create a collaborative relationship with them so that we can all work together and make such a great podcast. And then we messaged Melissa, I'm pretty sure. And then we all got in touch and started thinking about how to collaborate with one another.
Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, I remember it was just like a day before we put out that flyer. Fez messaged me and was like, hey, Melissa, I have this idea for this amazing podcast, and I was wondering if you'd be able to help me with it. And I mean, I was completely on board because his ideas and everything he laid out for it was just amazing. And then when David and Anna reached out to me, I was like, this is fantastic. We have a really solid group going here. We have a lot of really well, and obviously 4 is better than just 2, so it's really
absolutely. I mean, I think that I had a similar thinking in mind initially in the weeks preceding our arrival at Harvard, where I was thinking it would be really great to host some kind of a show where we could really showcase the talents and skills of our diverse student body. I think that each of us brings a different skill to the table. We come from such unique backgrounds and perspectives, and I thought it would be wonderful to try to unite all of those different lenses. And initially, I reached out to Melissa with this idea because, for all the freshmen listening, I think all of you know that since all of us received our acceptance letters, Melissa has truly been a leader within our community. So she was definitely the first person I wanted to reach out to with this idea. And, absolutely what she said when we reached out, or when we were reached out to by David and Anna, I think that collaborative feel is exactly what we were shooting for with the show itself. So we thought it would be wonderful to try to consolidate our efforts to, build something greater than what each of us could imagine individually.
Yeah, I absolutely. Oh man, I don't know about you guys, but I just love the story here. Right? It's so spontaneous, yet so. I don't know about your guys' views on Destiny and all that, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I really do think there was this natural progression, just where our visions just aligned and we just happened chanced upon each other. And I think that's my first real vision of what Harvard's going to be like.
It's
right?
a very cute origin story for sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I have the perfect word. It's serendipitous.
Whoa, yo, I love it. Right. But all right, I think the bush has been beaten enough here. Fez, I'm sure our audience is dying to know. We haven't even told them yet. I mean, what's going on with this podcast? What is Quarantine at Harvard? Why this? Why now? Why everything?
Well, David, it's no secret that I think not only is our community, but our world is at a very unprecedented, unique time in our history. The last time we saw a pandemic of this magnitude, it was over 100 years ago, around 1918. And, not only are we facing such a massive health crisis, we're seeing an economic crisis that I think is reaching, nationwide and around the world. Climate change remains an ever-present threat, and throughout the summer, and even this week, and even today, as we've seen in Washington, D.C., as the new March on Washington unfolds, just hours before we're recording this, I think we've seen so many different discussions taking place about the importance of racial justice and coming to terms with our nation's history. So there's a lot of interesting things happening in the world around us. And so the idea of quarantined at Harvard, comes from really the situation we're in right now. As the class of 2024, we are the only grade that has been invited back to Harvard's campus. And so we are in a very peculiar situation. And so I thought it would be wonderful for us to be able to capture the perspectives of Harvard students almost like a diary as they are going through this interesting experience from now up until November 22nd, when we will be sent back home. And our hope is that years from now, future people can, look back and be able to listen to this podcast and think, what were Harvard students doing? What were they thinking as all these things were happening around them? And so that's really the hope through this podcast.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'm sure our audience knows the podcast name as well. Not only is the episode called Quarantine at Harvard, but the placeholder, the mantle, so to speak, is called Hahvahd Yahd. So, Anna, can you explain a little bit what the difference is there to ease the confusion?
Yeah, for sure. So Quarantine at Harvard is more of a series that we like to have under the entire platform of the Hahvahd Yahd. I'm awful at the Boston accent. Please not make fun
No
of
worries.
me. But basically, what we mean by that is that the Harvard Yard would be the overall network of podcasts and have different series under it, because we understand that Quarantine at Harvard, it may not be the only thing of interest to everyone. There could be different series that people are very interested in. A good analogy for it would be like Disney Channel is a huge the Disney Channel is a huge platform versus like the Sweet Life of on Deck is underneath the whole platform of Disney. So Quarantine at Harvard is under the platform of the Harvard Yard.
Exactly. And to quickly mention as well, like Quarantine at hopefully, at least, this is knock on wood. I don't know if you can hear this, but knock on wood, because hopefully Quarantine at Harvard will not be something of like a permanent fixture, right? Hopefully at one point it's just gonna be like living normally at Harvard. Maybe that's
Right.
that
Yes.
series name. But yeah, I mean, Anna and I, before we even were able to meet Fez and Melissa, our idea was to create this Hahvahd Yahd kind of idea, where it's just, like Harvard Yard itself, it's a place where people meet up, just chill, relax, vibe, and just talk, right? So that's essentially it. It's a very broad name for a purposely broad platform, right? Where you explore everything related to what Harvard students bring to the table. But of course, this also is for a grander vision, right, Melissa? I mean, this is not just to vibe and just to talk meaningless conversations, but there is some greater vision here with this platform.
Right, of course. So, I mean, reiterating what everybody said, of course, our goal with the Hahvahd Yahd is to, sorry, I can't do the accent either, is to create an atmosphere where, like, we as a student body can facilitate discussions about really anything, but also specifically matters, like, such as, like, justice for all and the Black Lives Matter movement, or activism surrounding climate change, slowing the spread of COVID-19, even something like the potential end of TikTok, just really anything. And just like, obviously we have all these really important matters that I think that it's very important to have discussions about, to have like community discussions about, and just like bring to light, because again, like they're very relevant in today's society. And yeah, but I guess like going back to like the Hahvahd Yahd in general, like it's a place where we can really talk about anything and everything. And like sometimes it's just like, what's the food like today? Like, I mean, I went to the Winthrop Dining Hall the other day and the campus food was actually not that bad. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about, yeah, I mean, this podcast is a place for us to talk about all matters, like really important ones that we should be talking about, but also just like the little things that kind of make today what it is. So yeah, if you're looking for a place filled with lots of meaningful discussions and a lot of fun, you're in the right place.
Perfectly worded. And I think you know, in our very beginning, a little theatrical, I would say. You know, that kind of defines our personalities here. Like we love to have fun, but at the same time, though, fun does not like pigeonhole us into, you know, meaningless just jargon, right? There's still opportunities to talk about very important stuff. And that kind of I guess image is what we want to carry on. And you know, to give you guys a preview of our first episode, you know, again, this is a trailer. Our first episode of Quarantine at Harvard is going to feature us for the Quad Squad. You heard it here first, folks. We're the Quad Squad, and you know, we're just going to create an identity for ourselves. You know, understand at least what our situations are like. You know, we all live in different halls and different houses. Obviously, we have different backgrounds, but yeah, we're gonna just introduce the whole topic for our first episode. Introduce ourselves as well, perhaps a little bit deeper than what you can glean off of these few sound bites. But other than that, I'm just looking forward. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I am just excited to the brim to get this thing started.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, once we've introduced ourselves in our first episode, I think everyone listening can really look forward to us being able to sit down with some other Harvard students who are on or off campus. And we'll, you know, really engage in very substantive discussions so that we can learn more about their perspectives, learn more about their background, so that other freshmen listening to this, or even people outside of campus who are interested to hear, you know, what Harvard life is like, you know, they can really tune in and get an outstanding perception of, you know, what we're all going through, and, you know, what we hope to achieve through this experience.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to expressing our own experience of moving into Harvard and what it's like. Like, don't know what college is supposed to be like, and this is what we've been dealt with, and this is what we're going to have to adapt to. And I'm really excited to be able to share that with everyone.
Right, same here. Yeah, I guess like to add on to that, you know, super excited to be having this and to be a part of this. And like, yeah, just like sharing our experiences with one another and with other people. It's just a great opportunity and just something that's super enjoyable to do at the same time.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'm getting hyped now. Before I get too hyped and like kind of, you know, just go crazy here, I'm going to conclude the trailer. Going to put a lid on it because, you know, we want to build up hype. So for our audience, if this sounds like your cup of tea, and if you've never even heard a podcast before, this is a great introduction, I would say. But anyways, just stay in tune for our first episode for the Hahvahd Yahd for Quarantine at Harvard. Stay tuned on our social medias as well. We'll post there. But other than that, I'm excited. We're all excited. I hope you guys are excited. We'll see you guys at the first episode. This is the Quad Squad signing off.